Welcome back to Eliances Heroes, where heroes in business align. To be part of our super community and find out more about Eliances, visit www.Eliances.com. Now, back to our super host, David Kogan, founder of Eliances.
That's right. Thank you so much, Money Radio. This is David Kogan, and as you know, this show is all about heroes, those that are mentoring others, starting, expanding, growing companies. And this morning we just had Les Gold. He is the TV reality star for Hardcore Pawn, owner of American Jewelry in Detroit. We're also going to have other heroes on the show, including an entrepreneur and founder of an Inc. 5000 recruiting company, and the Chicago Pizza King. That's right, the president of Lou Malnati's, Mark Agnew. But without further ado, make sure you listen real carefully, because our next hero is doing so much for the community. So many things going on. You probably have heard of a company called Sam Adams Brewing Company, because we have the CEO of Sam Adams Brewing Company, Jim Koch. Now, what inspired you to start the Boston Beer Company brewing Samuel Adams?
Well, it's a good question. I started brewing Sam Adams in my kitchen 32 years ago. And the inspiration, I guess it came from a situation that a lot of people are in, and that I talk about in my book, Quench Your Own Thirst. I was at a good job. It was secure, a nice office. I was doing well in my career. But it was something that I realized I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. It's not really where my passion is. So I left my job, and I took a risk. And in Quench Your Own Thirst, I talk about risk, because people, they look at me and they go, well, you left a secure job with good money and everything. Well, how could you take such a big risk? And I want to really turn that on its head, because I viewed myself as not taking a risk at all. I started Sam Adams at a time when there was no good beer culture here. There were craft beer, the term hadn't been invented. There were just a handful of sort of misfits and crazies that were trying to start up these little small-scale breweries. So it looks like a big risk, but when I think about it, it really wasn't a risk. The worst thing that could have happened is, okay, I do something that I'm passionate about, I'm excited about it, it's my love, and it fails, and I lose my money, and I've got to find another job. Well, that's, I'm not going to be homeless. I'm not going to starve to death. I'm just going to, have lost my money doing something that I really cared about. The biggest risk for all of us, and for me in particular, was not, leaving the secure job, but rather staying there. And 30 years later, really realizing, well, I stayed there. I had my whole life there. And it wasn't really what I was passionate about. And I never, really tried to see if I could make great beer here in the United States and start a revolution. And I would have thought, geez, I wasted my life.
Right.
So that,
amazing.
The big risk is wasting your life.
I mean, just an amazing story. And again, we have Jim Koch. He is the founder and CEO of Sam Adams Brewing Company. And I've got your book. I started reading it, Quench Your Own Thirst. I mean, just the business lessons, the title, Business Lessons Learned Over a Beer or Two. And Jim, most everyone in the world thinks you have the best job in the world. The best job in the world. You're around beer all day. And
I agree with them. I get to taste beer. I get to imagine new beers, innovate, push the envelope of what beer is. I mean, for 32 years, Sam Adams has brought all this innovation and creativity to beer styles in the U.S., and that's a lot of fun.
And let's talk too. You help small businesses. You're doing a lot with small business. In fact, right, you have a foundation of Brewing the American Dream, helping microloans through Samuel Adams as it's a part of your philanthropic program. How do you determine?
It's more than,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we don't really view it as just a philanthropic program. It's really an expression of our culture and our values and what we think is important. because, and I know this is very counterintuitive, and Quench Your Own Thirst is not a traditional business book. There's a lot of surprising counterintuitive things in there. One of them is how we think about our fellow craft brewers. Then everybody says, well, they're your competition. How do you compete with them? How do you try to put them out of business? And we don't think of them as competitors in the traditional sense. We think of them as our colleagues, as fellow craft brewers, even our friends. So the Sam Adams Brewing the American Dream program was set up to provide coaching and counseling and small business loans to startups and up-and-coming small businesses to help them grow. And we've made loans to over 30 other craft breweries and given coaching and counseling to hundreds of them. And even with Quench Your Own Thirst, all of the profits from Quench Your Own Thirst go to loans to help up-and-coming small businesses across the United States, including fellow craft brewers.
Unbelievable. I mean, so much. You're doing so much. And you're listening to Eliances Heroes on Money Radio, AM 1510 and FM 99.3. Are you a hero in business? Are you making a difference? Go to Eliances.com. That's ELIANCES.com. And we have Jim Koch. He is the founder. Samuel Adams. You can look him up. Quench Your Own Thirst is his book. Go to SamuelAdams.com. You can also go to Eliances.com. We'll have his information and his link there too. And I know, let's see here, you used your great-grandfather's recipe, right? This was given to you by your father, and that helped you, right, to create the formula. And I've got to ask you too, is what would you say if your great-grandfather now could talk to you now? What would you say to him? What do you think he would think, and what would you say to him? Or what would he say to you?
Well, it was actually my great-great-grandfather, and I think what I would say to him was, thank you for giving me this amazing beer recipe. It really helped not only me and Sam Adams get off the ground, but Sam Adams helped ignite this whole craft brewing revolution. And I tell my great-great-grandfather, dude, your recipe started a revolution in American beer that has created a beer culture that is the envy of the world. So I hope you're proud of it.
It's huge. In fact, I love your commercials. And on the way coming to the studio, I even talked to my mom and told her who's coming on the show. She's like, oh, he has the best commercials. You've created this culture at Boston Beer Company. How do you inspire your employees?
Well, I think, as anybody running their own business soon realizes, you as the leader, the founder, the head brewer, whatever, and all the titles that I have, you have to embody the culture. You have to act it out every single day. People don't learn the culture from an employment manual. They learn it by watching the behaviors of those around them. And all of that starts at the top. So, for example, every month we do an orientation for our new people. It lasts a week. It's not training. It's just a week of steeping in our culture, our values, our history, our mission. People brew beer at the brewery. They give tours. They listen. And their very first day, and, we all really remember our first day of a new job. That's when they're, most open. So their very first day, the first 2 hours, they spend with me. And I go through all of those important things, our history, mission, culture, and values for 2 hours. So they hear it directly from me. Hopefully they see, my passion, my pride, how much I believe in this. And then, at the end of the day, I spend another 3 hours with them drinking beer. and I will walk them through 24 to 30 of our different beer styles, tell them about the ingredients, the brewing process, where the flavors come from, how to describe the beer to people and romance it. And generally after 10 or 12 beers, everything's pretty loose and everything's on the table, and it's a very, vivid demonstration to them of what an open, approachable culture is like, where everybody is valued, everybody's opinion's important, and people are encouraged to work together and speak up and say what's on their mind to each other.
So inspirational. So that's right. Listen, you started in your kitchen, created Boston Beer Company, brewing Samuel Adams, became the CEO and founder of Samuel Adams, and it's all about taking risks. So make sure, quench your own thirst. Go ahead, go to Samueladams.com. You can also go to Eliances.com. And when we return, we're going to have the entrepreneur of an Inc. 5000 recruiting company and also Chicago's Pizza King, the president of Lou Malnati's Pizza. And thank you to LoopyDocs.com, our producer, Christine Jeffries, known as Glue. David Kogan with Eliances.